Thank you. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our military is strong because each member pledges loyalty to the Constitution, not to a specific president or a political party. And in return, military service and promotion are not tied to a political party or personal loyalty. President Trump threatens that political neutrality with no explanation. He has fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Chief of Naval Operations. Secretary Hegseth has purged top military lawyers and called for removing, quote, woke generals. Former defense secretaries have called this a, quote, new political standard for military service. So, Mr. Tata, if confirmed, you would be the defense secretary's principal advisor on personnel matters. You've already made your views clear. On November 2024, you posted on X that a, quote, must do, close quote, for the Trump administration will be to, quote, review every four-star appointed by Biden and thank many for their service before firing them. Mr. Tata, what evaluations did you do for each of the dozens of four-star generals and admirals to convince you that each of them needed to be fired?
Hey, Patriots, welcome back to the channel, where we put truth, country, and common sense first. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and don't forget to share this video, especially with folks who still believe Elizabeth Warren knows what she's talking about. You're going to want to hear this one. Today, we're breaking down a wild exchange from a recent Senate hearing. Senator Elizabeth Warren went on a tirade, yes. Again, this time grilling Trump's Department of Defense nominee, Brigadier General Anthony Tata, over some tweets he made. And folks, the performance was pure political theater. So here's the deal. Warren kicks it off by preaching about how the military should be loyal to the Constitution, not to the president. And listen, she's right on that point absolutely. But here's the hypocrisy. When Democrat administrations fill the Pentagon with woke ideologues who care more about DI quotas and battle readiness, suddenly that's not political? Please.
Senator, that comment was in response to a CNN article that had credible sources that several admirals and generals were having discussions on how to resist lawful orders from the president usurping his Article II constitutional authority as commander-in-chief, which I find unacceptable. I think we can all agree that the Constitution of the United States that we swear an oath of office to, that I have done for many times in my career, is the ultimate penultimate document that we support and that we swear an allegiance to. And so if there were people that were having those conversations, if there were admirals and generals that were having those conversations.
Mr. Tata, I have your tweet here, and your tweet doesn't say, I want to investigate person by person and see what they've done. I also want to make clear that when generals are having conversations about what to do if they receive illegal orders so that they can still follow their obligations under the Constitution of the United States, then they are following the law. They are not breaking the law. But let's go on to what else you have said.
Senator, if I might, the article said controversial, did not say illegal. And so controversial is very subject to interpretation.
I just want to clarify here. You want to say, you want to fire everybody. I've got your tweet here.
I don't want to fire anybody,
you think
Senator.
They gave controversial statements? I'm sorry, it says before firing them. Mr. Chairman, could I enter this into the record, please? Mr. Tata's tweet.
Is there objection? There being no objection, it is
All right,
so admitted.
Let me try another one. On November 2024, you posted on X that the Trump administration should choose only leaders who are, quote, all oars in the water to achieve Trump Agenda 47. That suggests that you believe that generals should be picked for loyalty to Donald Trump. Is that right? Is that what you believe?
That is not what I believe, Senator.
Then why did you post this?
Well, I was a private citizen when I posted that, and
So when you were a private citizen, you said things you didn't believe?
As
Still are a private
Agenda
citizen
47,
right now, Mr. Tata.
Senator, let him answer the question.
Senator, I'm respectfully trying to answer your question. Agenda 47 talks about shipbuilding. It talks about reducing the wars that we engage in And so as a leader, I support the idea, I
Chairman?
support the president's vision that he had in Agenda 47, though, from a foreign policy perspective, and that's what I was
That
referring
is
to.
not what this tweet says. Mr. Chairman, may I enter this tweet into the record?
Without objection.
In January 2025, just 4 months ago, Mr. Tata, you posted on X that planning for President Trump's inauguration should, your word, assume that the National Guard and DOD are, quote, compromised at a minimum by hatred of the incoming administration. What information did you have about each member of the Guard and DOD that caused you not only to draw this conclusion, but to put it out there in public?
Senator, I had no information that
So you just said it about our Guard. You know, competence is based on the experience and performance of a military leader. Evidently, you have no information individually about the generals, the admirals, and the members of our National Guard and DOD who serve this country, and yet you're willing to say that they all need to be fired or treated as traitors. You seem to think that if a general or admiral was promoted during a Democratic administration, that person should be automatically fired. That's just a political purge and a pretty standard move for a dictatorship. I think it disqualifies you for this office.
Thank you.
General Tata tweeted back in 2024 that the Trump administration should review keyword, review the Biden-era four-star generals, and fire those who don't serve the mission. You know what? I agree. Let me ask you, if you had commanders in your chain of command who spent more time resisting lawful orders and securing the homeland, would you trust them in a real-world combat situation? Because I wouldn't. She reads his tweet like it's some kind of criminal manifesto. He literally said review and thanked them for their service before firing them. That's not a political purge, that's leadership. That's accountability. That's cleaning house when people aren't on board with the mission. Then she goes on a rampage over another tweet where Tata said we should have all oars in the water for Agenda 47. What does that even mean, Liz? That someone wants leadership to support the president's agenda, you know, the person elected by the American people. Let me translate for the coastal elite who don't get it. Every administration needs people rowing in the same direction. That's called effectiveness. That's not authoritarian. That's how you win wars. Run an agency or run a business. And she says, so you think generals should be loyal to Trump? Listen, nobody's saying loyalty to Trump over the Constitution. That's a strawman. We're saying, if you're actively working against the commander-in-chief's lawful policies, you've got no business wearing stars on your shoulders. And then, the piece de resistance Tata's tweet about the National Guard and DOD being compromised by hatred of Trump. Look, I don't like generalizing our service members. Most are patriots. But let's not pretend that after 2020 and the Pentagon leaks, there weren't folks in high places letting their personal politics bleed into duty. Tata admits he had no specific proof, okay. That was a mistake. But Warren takes that as proof the man wants to lead a dictatorship. Give me a break. Let's be real patriots. This isn't about tweets. It's about power. Warren and her progressive pals don't want anyone in the Pentagon who isn't politically aligned with their leftist worldview. They scream about political neutrality, but only if it protects their side. The Constitution comes first. Always. But don't confuse that with blind tolerance for disloyalty. A general who plots to undermine civilian leadership, no matter who's in office, is a threat to democracy. If you wouldn't accept that under Trump, you shouldn't accept it under Biden either. Bottom line, General Tata served his country honorably. He raised real concerns about a politicized military, and for that, he got railroaded. Warren wasn't looking for answers. She was looking for a soundbite, a headline, something to fire up the MSNBC crowd. If you agree, hit that thumbs up. Share this video. We got to keep speaking truth while they try to cancel patriots who actually care about this country's security. This is American Strong. Stand firm, stand proud, and God bless the United States of America.